evolution, creation, and a little math. One way to look at it is what we see in Genesis. Then God said, "Let the waters teem with swarms of living creatures and let birds fly above the earth." But how did it happen? Evolution has two elements: natural selection, which is survival of the fittest, from the many to the few, and this is easily demonstrated like water running downhill. The other element is chance. Chance is how natural selection becomes evolution. Evolution and natural selection are commonly interchanged or conflated, but they are actually opposites. They run in opposite directions. Evolution runs from simple or almost nothing to complicated. You get new species as time goes by. Natural selection is survival of the fittest. The weaker versions die out. Darwin did not know about amino acids or DNA. To simplify the math, let's start with a single protein, one building block of life. A protein is a particular string of amino acids. We can treat a protein like a combination lock made of amino acids. This combination lock has 4 rings. Each ring has 10 possible positions, 0 through 9, and there would be 10,000 combinations, the 10 positions of each ring, raised to the 4th power, the number of rings. One of the simpler and older proteins is cytochrome C. There are 20 possible amino acids that show up in the genetic code. Cytochrome C is just one particular combination of amino acids out of about 10 to the 44th possible combinations for this particular protein. You can see here there's a 1 followed by 44 zeros. This is like stacking 11 of these combination locks end to end, which is 44 rings, each having positions 0 through 9, or again 10 to the 44th power. Darwin thought the living cell was a basic element. He had no idea that a building block could be so complex. Let's see how long it takes to go through all of the possible combinations to find this one protein by chance, the way evolution does it. Then we will see how long it takes to create something with the same number of possible combinations. If this protein was formed by lightning striking a pond of primordial ooze, how long would it take to go through 10 to the 44th combinations? If there was 1 strike per second, would 10 billion years be enough? That's how long we have, roughly, since the Big Bang. 10 billion years times 365 and a quarter days per year times 24 hours per day times 60 minutes per hour times 60 seconds per minute gives you 3.16 times 10 to the 17th seconds. We need about 27 more zeros. What if this happened on every planet in the Milky Way? One of the larger estimates of the number of planets in the Milky Way is 500 billion, or 5 times 10 to the 11th power planets. 500 billion planets per galaxy times the last big number we had equals 1.58 times 10 to the 29th lightning strikes per galaxy in 10 billion years. We still need 15 more zeros. Would you take these odds just to make a protein? Creating even a simple living cell by accident is much more complicated than creating a protein. The next slides show that we can easily invent or create something with 10 to the 44th combinations, although we'd never have time to solve it by dumb luck. There's the base, there's ring 1, 2, and what we did here was set up a spreadsheet to make 22 rings, each with 100 possible positions. This still gives you 10 to the 44th, as 100 to the 22nd power is the same as 10 to the 44th power. So after making these rings, these pie charts on a spreadsheet, printed them out, cut them out, and put them together easily in less than one day. Now here's a view of the same 22 rings, so you can see each of the slots, where each slot is a particular solution for that ring. Again, here's another way to look at it, as you stack up the rings, each one having a different value. They could have the same value, but again, 22 rings, each with its own value. You need to line them up, kind of like a keyway. That's the proper solution. Here's another look at it, each one being turned to line up so that the slots are all upward. And once they're all lined up, again, 10 to the 44th possible combinations, that's the solution. Even Darwin would not accept these odds. He stipulated that a single cell must be a basic unit for his theory of evolution to hold up. This is far from true. There is more complexity in a living cell than in the infrastructure of a modern city. Combining single cells into skin, eyes, bones, nerves, etc., and then into whole animals could not have happened by accident. Scientists bring up examples of things you can't prove one way or the other. They sound good, but no one can test them. One example is the 1,000 monkey theory. Here are 10 pictures of 2 monkeys each. You multiply that by 50, that would be 1,000 monkeys. Let's see if there is a way that we can test it. You recall that this theory says that 1,000 monkeys banging on 1,000 typewriters for 1,000 years could create the works of Shakespeare. Well, okay, there's no way to argue this by doing the math. However, we can set up a simpler case that we can test mathematically. Whatever time the simple case takes, the more complicated case should take more time. Let's see how long it takes to do a simpler task. If we put all the works of Shakespeare into 10 volumes, let's ask the monkeys to put the books on the shelf. When the 10 volumes are on the shelf in order, 1 through 10, with the binding out board and the books right side up, then the test is over. That should be a lot easier, much easier than writing the contents. This is something we can do the math on. To put them in the right order, 1 through 10, involves something called 10 factorial. And the number of possibilities in 10 factorial, which is 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, is 3,628,800 possible orders. Then, to get them all right side up, we multiply by 1,024. Since there are 10 books, and 2 to the 10th, that is right side up or upside down if there's 2 possibilities, 2 to the 10th is 1,024. This assumes that the binding is already facing out and each book can only be either right side up or upside down. When the books are right side up, any side could be facing forward, the front of the book, the back, the binding, or binding could be inboard with the pages out. And here's the thing, each book has 6 sides. Any of the sides can be on the shelf. The top could be laying on the shelf, the front, the back, the top, the binding, or the opposite, the binding could be laying on the shelf. The monkeys don't know which way we want them, so it'll be by chance that they get it right. This means there are 6 times 4 equals 24 possible orientations for each book. But only one of those 24 has the book binding facing outward and the lettering right side up. Therefore, we need to raise 24 to the 10th power since there are 10 books. 24 to the 10th power is 63,403,380,965,376 possible orientations. Now you have to multiply this by 10 factorial to get the books also in the right order. So then we are multiplying 63 trillion plus by 3,628,800. This gives us 230 quintillion, 78 quadrillion, 188 trillion, 847 billion, 156 million possible combinations. If they never rested, it would take over 7 billion years to go through all the possible combinations at 1 change per second per monkey. Not only is this an easier task than writing the works of Shakespeare, it could take up to 7 million times more than 1,000 years to complete this task compared to the original 1,000 monkey theory. More complex tests, but still simpler than writing the works on a typewriter, include tearing all the pages out of the 10 books and having the monkeys put the pages in order. Going farther, you could cut all the words out of the pages and have them put the words in order per page and the pages in order. Or you could cut all the letters out of all the words and then have them put together the works of Shakespeare from scratch with the actual proper number of letters to complete the task. All of these approaches are simpler than totally random typing. So if this common example about 1,000 monkeys is so wildly in error, why do we use it to justify that evolution could happen by accident?